All right, let's jump right into this explainer and uncover the really stark contrast between the neat, sanitized English you find in textbooks and the beautiful, chaotic mess of how we actually speak today. If you've ever studied a language in school and then traveled to a country where it's spoken, you know exactly what I mean. You step off the plane, you're totally ready to use your perfectly memorized phrases, and suddenly, absolutely nothing sounds like the audio files from your classroom. Today, we're going to look at exactly why that happens and how language actually works out there in the real world. So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with textbook versus the real world, move into the messiness of conversation, then mastering English idioms, decoding 2026 slang, and we'll wrap up with learning in the digital age.
Starting off with Section 1, textbook versus the real world. Just look at this comparison between a typical textbook interaction and real life. The textbook version is just so smooth and problem-free, right? It's got this polite turn-taking that honestly feels a bit like a scripted quiz show. But real-world conversations, like the ones gathered by linguist Alex Gilmore, they are absolutely filled with overlaps, false starts, and hesitation. It's a whole lot of and and people just talking straight over one another. It's wonderfully imperfect.
Now you might be thinking, well, why do textbooks kind of lie to us? Well, as H.G. Whittison points out in this quote, artificiality in textbooks isn't necessarily a bad thing, especially for early learners. When you're just starting out, you really need a controlled environment to pick up basic structures without getting totally overwhelmed. But here's the catch. If we only ever stick to the textbook, we're ultimately deprived of realistic models of discourse. We literally never learn how to navigate the actual, unpredictable flow of real human interaction. Let's dive into Section 2, the messiness of conversation. Linguists have actually gone ahead and measured this messiness, and the data is wild. Looking at Gilmore's analysis comparing textbook audio to real-life service encounters, the numbers are just staggering. We can clearly see that authentic conversations actually have a lower density of unique vocabulary, meaning we reuse a lot of the same simple words in everyday life, but look at the rates of false starts and repetitions. Textbooks have almost zero false starts. Real life, they happen constantly. People change their minds mid-sentence, they stumble over their words, and they repeat themselves just to buy time to think.
And then notice this massive gap in pause frequency. Real-life speakers pause all the time to formulate ideas, consult maps, or check their screens. In older textbooks, this was completely smoothed out. But these pauses are absolutely essential. They are basically the breathing room of communication. Real talk is also absolutely packed with what linguists call back channels. These are those little noises like, and yeah. They are vital for showing sympathy and active listening. Honestly, if you don't use them, you come across as super cold or robotic. Yet, historically, they are almost entirely absent from contrived textbook dialogues. Learning to throw in an occasional might actually do way more to make you sound natural than memorizing some complex grammar rule.
Moving right along to Section 3, Mastering English Idioms.
Idioms are this incredibly important part of everyday English that, quite frankly, just don't make sense, literally. Take bite the bullet. I mean, if a doctor told you to literally bite a bullet today, you'd think they were completely crazy. But it just means to get something unpleasant over with. Mastering these non-literal phrases is a massive leap towards sounding native and truly understanding the cultural texture of the language. Phrases like cutting corners, feeling under the weather, missing the boat, speak of the devil, and break a leg are just so highly visual. They anchor complex emotional situations into quick, easily understood imagery. They definitely require practice to wrap your head around, for sure, but once you do, they act as brilliant conversational shortcuts. And, just to add to the beautiful chaos of English, even simple, common words can totally betray you depending on your geography. Take the word quite. In American English, it generally means very or extremely. But hop over to British English, and it can mean moderately or somewhat. American quite and British quite can literally mean the exact opposite thing. Which brings us to Section 4, Decoding 2026 Slang. Welcome to the slang of 2026. So, have you heard of a canon event? Borrowed from comic book and movie lore, it refers to an unavoidable, defining life experience. For example, realizing you've been pronouncing a word wrong your whole life in front of a room full of people? Yeah, that is exactly what the internet would currently call a canon event. It's chaotic, it's difficult, but hey, it builds character. Or take the phrase aura farming. Aura is used to describe someone's cool factor or overall vibe. So aura farming is the term used to describe someone deliberately curating their aesthetic, especially online. It's almost like they're actively collecting experience points in a video game.
These vibrant terms are just spilling out of TikTok and IG captions straight into our group chats and honestly even our workplaces. You pop off to celebrate someone. You're based if you are genuinely and unapologetically yourself. Crashing out is for a sudden, dramatic burnout. Unk, short for uncle, is used to playfully call someone old or out of touch. If a party is boring, it's chopped. And if someone is staring blankly during a meeting, they are 404 coded, just like an internet error page. They perfectly capture these highly specific modern cultural moments.
But modern slang isn't just about jokes. It can actually be deeply philosophical. Take the phrase rich in life. It has absolutely nothing to do with your bank account. Being rich in life means having an abundance of experiences, great friends, curiosity, and day-to-day joy. It shows how language is constantly adapting to reflect what a culture actually values at any given moment.
Finally, let's look at Section 5, Learning in the Digital Age. So, with all this incredible complexity, how do modern learners actually bridge the gap between those rigid textbook dialogues and real-world slang? Well, the solution lies in how we study. We have fundamentally shifted away from geographically restricted traditional classrooms, where you were limited by whatever textbook your school happened to buy. Now we are fully immersed in dynamic digital platforms that offer distance learning that adapts in real time. These modern platforms impartially empower students by offering some truly incredible benefits that were just impossible a few decades ago. We're talking global access to world-class trainers. You have the ability to replay recorded sessions if you missed something. You can engage with interactive media, and most importantly, you can practice directly with native speakers around the globe, ensuring you're learning the real language, complete with all those essential pauses, back channels, and the latest slang terms.
And this ecosystem is just incredibly diverse. Whether it's the professional, comprehensive training from institutes like iEnglish, the gamified, bite-sized lessons of Duolingo or Memrise, or direct language exchanges on apps like Tandem, there's a digital tool designed for absolutely every type of focused learner today. You can literally carry a window to authentic, messy, real-world language right in your pocket.
As you navigate the world today, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Next time you stumble over your words or throw in a quick or yeah, don't be hard on yourself. Embrace the false starts, the regional quirks, the slang, and the chaos. Because ultimately, it is exactly that messiness that takes us off the page, out of the textbook, and truly makes communication human. Keep learning, keep speaking, and I'll see you in the next explainer.